Hey entrepreneurs, we know that live streaming is incredibly important because the algorithms favor those live streams over every other type of content that you could possibly create. And we know that there are different types of live streaming that you can be implementing into your marketing strategy. Today, I want to chat about 15 of my all-time favorite types of live streams that you can be doing to grow your profitable brand through your smart social media marketing. So are you ready? Let's dive in. Talk shows are one of my all-time favorite types of live streams, and it's actually probably the one I'm known most for in my businesses. Now, talk shows are amazing because these are scheduled weekly live broadcasts where you go live on the same day at the same time every single week on a topic related to your business. Oftentimes, you will have guest stars on top of your amazing content that you're already putting out there, so that you will have some weeks where you're the lead instructor and some weeks where you're going to be interviewing other people who are going to educate and or entertain the people who are coming to your live talk show. Now, I love talk shows because they give you the ability to get information out there in a fun and creative way that actually has people building their schedules around what you're doing. So if they know you're going live every single Sunday at 6 p.m., they are going to show up every single Sunday at 6 p.m. in that location. Your fans know when you're going to go live because your talk show is every single week. And I love that I get to interview fabulous people, bring on guest interviewers. I get to do all sorts of amazing things within my talk show. Now, typically when I'm structuring my talk show, I usually introduce things that happen during the week that my people need to know about. I'll talk about the topic that we're going to be chatting about, and then I'll bring on my co-hosts. I'll bring on my amazing guest stars. I will then deliver the content that I have promised them. So with a talk show, you've got the liberty to actually build it out a little bit and treat it like a talk show you might see in the mornings when you are watching TV as you are drinking your coffee. And so typically I will come on, I will introduce myself, I'll introduce the topic for the day. If I've got co-host for that episode, I will be introducing them, and then I will let them know again what that topic is going to be. If there's any breaking news, if there's things they need to know about during the week, things that they're going to see coming up or things that they have missed, that is the time that I'm going to be dropping that information, and then I'm going to get into the main source of my content. And with this main source of my content, I am going to then deliver some really powerful bullet points, some great tips and tricks. I might give them some freebies, and at the end, I will let everybody know where they can find me, where they can find my guest stars, my co-hosts, all those fabulous things before I wrap up for the day. Typically, I keep my talk shows around 30 minutes to 60 minutes long. I don't want to go over an hour with a talk show, maybe by 5 minutes if you have to, if you've got a lot of guests on or some really great content that particular week. But typically I aim for around 30 to 60 minutes of content with my talk shows, and sometimes I will have guest co-hosts. Now, sometimes my talk shows are led just by me. It is just me solo as the sole host of the show, but I do have some talk shows with one or two other co-hosts, which is great because if I don't have guest stars on that particular week, I'll still have somebody to talk to. Now, don't get me wrong, as a solo host, I love being able to talk directly to my audience, but it does mean I have to be producing and hosting my show at the same time. I have to fill the entire time with content, and I have to be moderating my comments, all those fun, fabulous things. But when I have co-hosts, I can actually pay attention to the comments while they're speaking. They can kind of cover for me when I'm doing things behind the scenes. It's a great relationship. Now, I have learned if you need a script for your talk show, sometimes that does add a little bit of work if you do have co-hosts, if you are the one scripting the entire thing, but usually your co-host can work really, really well with you and in a very strong way to promote what you're doing on your show. So if you are going to be using co-hosts, find good ones and give it a test run a couple of months before you actually book them in as your permanent co-host to make sure it's a good fit for you, for them, and for your show. But I love doing talk shows because this is a weekly chance for me to get in front of my people in a meaningful way. Talk shows are one of my all-time favorite things, so much so that I actually run 3 weekly talk shows on top of all the rest of my talk shows. But don't get me wrong, talk shows are not the only way that we can be live broadcasting. So here's the deal, we've got 14 more. Are you ready? Let's dive into our next. Tutorials and educational content are one of the best ways that we can be using our live streaming because we can show things directly on screen, we can show button-for-button tutorials, we can show click-for-click what we're doing, and we can deliver really great content to the people who are watching our live streams. I love being able to use my agenda to go bullet point for bullet point as we are chatting within these educational content that I am putting out to people, and I'm showing them step-by-step how to do something really cool. Like in my social media strategy, I'm educating on how people can create profitable businesses through smart social media marketing. So I will use this educational content to tell them how to live stream or how to work on Instagram, how to run a really effective Instagram stories campaign. There's all sorts of things that I teach through my live streams, and I'm able to answer questions in real time. So when you're creating educational content, the key here is to be using bullet points. You want to make sure you're getting in point 1, 2, 3, 4, and step by step, give them those actions to take to complete whatever it is that you're teaching them. If you are teaching a digital tutorial, you're kind of doing some kind of course, you're going to want to put things up on screen as well so you can screen share. In fact, recently I did a video all about how to format ebooks, and I took my students inside behind the scenes of the program that I used to format those ebooks in a drag and drop format, and I showed them button for button, click for click, exactly what to do on screen while I was live streaming. I was able to answer their questions and get in those comments to make sure that everyone knew exactly what I was doing and how they could do that as well. So educational content is great because then you can repurpose it and kick it out again and again and again in an evergreen format. So when people are searching for that particular type of content later on, they are coming back to your live streams where you were answering these questions, showing them how to do things and showing them on screen exactly what they need to see. Live streaming is a great way to do educational content to make sure people in your industry, in your niche, in your business are learning about how they can grow their own businesses, how they can grow their own family life, how they can do things in their own life, or how they can work with you. Educational content does not just have to be about educating people on how to do things in their life. It can also be about educating them on how to work with you and your business as well. So if you are teaching people how to use your products, how to use your services, how to sign up with you, how to book with you, whatever it happens to be, you can use this to educate them and onboard them into your business so that you are making more money, getting more clients, and selling more products and services within your business as well. But again, we're not done because there's so much you could be doing with your live stream. Are you ready? Let's dive into the next. Using live streaming to answer questions that your fans, your clients, your students, your members are asking you is a great way to get in front of them and have that conversation. Frequently, you are going to get questions over and over and over again from the people who are following you, watching you, and potentially wanting to interact with you. And live streaming to answer those questions is a great way to get in front of this and be able to send them back to this material later on so you're not answering the same questions. So Q&As and frequently asked questions are an amazing way to leverage live streaming within your business to grow what you are doing. So what I want you to do for this one is actually put out a call. Ask people what their questions are about your business, your products, your services, the things that you're doing, and ask what their questions are. Put out that call. And then start making a list of those questions you get over and over and over again, maybe through Facebook Messenger, maybe in your emails. The questions that people keep asking that you don't necessarily want to keep answering, use a live stream to answer them. And you can make this short and only answer one question per live stream and kind of flesh out the answer so that it's about 15 minutes long, or you can do slightly longer and answer a couple of different questions if they work together. If they do work together, this is going to be a great way to educate them, but if they're kind of all over the place, I would break them up into shorter live streams where you're answering one specific question. Now, you can use a screenshot to show people that people actually did answer this or ask this question, or you could just say what the question is. You can say that you get it a lot. You can actually name a person who asked it if they're okay with that, and you can answer these questions in a short weekly series. You can do it one day after the next. You could do it week to week to week, or you could do it as they come up. Live streaming is a great way because as you're explaining this, if people are tuning in, they can ask questions if they don't quite understand your explanation. So this is a great way to flesh out those questions and really get to know your audience. I love this because when people are joining you on your live streams or even in your replays and leaving comments and questions, you are getting to know what their pain points are, what those pressure points are for them, and then you can redirect what you're saying and actually use the words that they are using to make sure that you are adequately communicating with these people and getting their questions answered in a really highly relevant way. Q&A, FAQs are one of my favorite ways to be doing live streaming because it helps to build my business, it helps my clients to get to know me a little bit better, and it gives me a reason to go live and hang out. Okay, we're not done yet. I actually love this next one. Let's talk all about AMAs. Ask Me Anything sessions are so much fun to do on live streams. Now, I frequently call these AMAs for short, and I always let my fans know before I go on air that I am going to be jumping on at a specific day and specific time to do an Ask Me Anything session. This is an open call for people to join me and ask me their questions about my business, my products, my services, the things that I'm doing, and sometimes even life questions as well. Ask Me Anything, of course, is going to have some rules like don't be a jerk, don't be mean, don't be weird, don't be creepy. But other than that, I want you to come open and prepared to answer questions. And if you're a little bit hesitant on this, set some parameters. You can actually say, ask me anything on a specific topic. So for me, as a social media strategist, I might say, ask me anything on Instagram stories so that I can answer relevant questions to Instagram stories. Let's say you happen to be a candle maker. You could say, ask me anything on how to use candles as Christmas presents this year. You can narrow down your topic and be very, very specific, or you can keep it broad and general. But this is the time for people to come and join you. And I frequently like to tell people in advance so I can collect questions in advance, just in case people don't show up at the beginning of my live and I don't have any questions. Or just in case people are busy and they can't join me during the live, they can still get their questions answered and then watch the replay. Ask Me Anythings are so much fun for me because I never know what I'm going to be asked, but I'm able to answer questions in real time. In fact, I love this so much that I've implemented this into my business once a week. In my social media strategy life, I actually go live once a week for 20 minutes to answer my students' questions in real time about whatever social media troubles they happen to be having in the moment so they don't have to wait for my courses, my videos, and the other things that I'm putting out for them. As an author, I do Ask Me Anythings quite frequently, and my fans can come and ask me about my books, my characters, how I do my world building, how I do my character development, how a book is published, all sorts of things related to the publishing industry and the books that I've created. I love doing Ask Me Anythings because this is the time where I am giving people permission to come and ask me questions, no matter how long, no matter how silly, no matter how in-depth. People know they can come and have that face-to-face interaction with me and get their questions answered. And because I know that this can be a little hard for people, one of the great things about an Ask Me Anything is you can actually plant audience members. So get your best friend, get your mom, get your sister, get somebody you know and trust to show up to your live stream and start asking questions. You can tell them the questions to ask, or they can come up with questions on their own. But this is a little trick to help get the ball rolling because a lot of people don't like to be the first. You guys remember back in school when nobody wanted to raise their hand to be the first one to volunteer or ask a question? Same thing goes here. So when you have somebody planted in your audience, that gets the ball rolling, and then other people feel like they have permission to get involved and ask their questions as well. So Ask Me Anythings are a great way to introduce your clients to you and to your business and to answer their questions, which you can then leverage later on because you're learning their pain points, their pressure points, the things that they want from you. They are telling you during these Ask Me Anythings. They're telling you what content they want to see from you. So you can then make more videos, you can make products, you can flesh out your services, you can do all sorts of amazing things to build on what they want within their businesses, within their lives, within whatever connection they have to you. This is a great way to learn those and get those questions early, ask them while you're on air, and have that face-to-face conversation with them. And I recommend doing this maybe once a month within your business. And if you want to do it more, feel free. But once a month for an Ask Me Anything is a great way to make sure you're getting that face time with your people and getting in connection with them and getting their questions answered. All right, are you ready? We've got more, and I'm super excited about this one. Doing interviews while live streaming is so much fun because you get to be face-to-face with someone and actually interview them. You get to act as an investigative journalist and you get to ask questions about who they are, what they do, how they grew in their business, how people can learn from them. It is such a fun experience, and it's not about necessarily educating people. It's not necessarily about talking about your business or implementing things into your business. It's truly and purely about interviewing this person and showing them off to people. I love interviews because it's so much fun. People get to talk about their passions, about their business, about the things that they are doing to help grow our community. And interviews are so much fun for me as an interviewer because I get to learn about people. I get to do things and I get to bring out the fun side of them and the really interesting things that we are learning about this person while we are on air. Now, to do an interview, you do need to reach out to that person. You need to say, I would love to have you on to interview you about this topic. So be very clear, very specific specific about what it is and invite them onto your show. You can use this as part of your talk show or part of your weekly scheduled broadcast, or it can be random, but I do want you to market it in advance so people do show up. And of course, you can put that call out for questions as well so that you have things to ask them while you're on air. An interview does require doing a little bit of investigating before you go on air because you want to know what this person is, what they're about, what they've done, all those fun, fancy things that you're going to need to then question them about while you're on air. But for me, I tend to do my research before I invite them. And then once I have them in my green room, behind the scenes, backstage, off air, we have a conversation and I kind of go over those bullet points that I want to talk about, and I'll start to ask them questions. I'll ask them for the highlight of the answer that they're going to be giving on air. So not the full thing, but just like highlight reel. So I know what they're going to be talking about, which can then lead me to new questions that I didn't know I was going to need to ask while we were on air. And so having an interview is amazing because you do want to meet with this person beforehand, get to know them a little bit, and then jump on air and have that conversation. And you want to keep it very focused on them and what we can learn from them. This is more along the lines of entertaining and educational than being purely educational. You're not necessarily leveraging it for your business quite as much. You are introducing your fans, your clients, your students, your members to this amazing person, but you're really doing this to learn and grow from them and highlight them within the industry as well. I love interviews. Interviews are so much fun because it really brings out those passions within them, more so than educating does, and it really allows us to get to know that person on a deeper level, which I absolutely love. All right. Are you ready? We've got more to talk about. I'm really excited because we're actually going to be talking about something kind of related to this, but a little bit different. Here we go. In a slightly niched down version of an interview, I actually want you to grab one of your clients and bring them on to interview them. This can be specifically about their experience with you, how they've worked with you, how they've grown from working with you, how they use your products, how they use your services, how they have changed by working with you or being part of your circle, part of your sphere, part of the things that you are doing within your brand and business. You're bringing this person on as an evangelist for you. So yes, you are highlighting everything that they're doing in their businesses and their lives, how they're growing the community, but you're also leveraging this for your business. This is kind of like a client testimonial. So you're showing a before and after, where they were, where they are now, what they're doing now, how other people can do that as well. This is a really great way to show off somebody you're working with, and I want you to be very, very clear on this. When you go into this, your mindset should not be about getting credit for things, getting thanked for things. It should not be about getting people to work with you because of this person. This should come from a place of honesty where you are spotlighting someone you are proud of, someone that you want to show off, someone that you want to introduce your community to because they're amazing and because they're doing great things. But it also acts as a reference for you. It actually acts as a testimonial for you. But that is secondary to showing off the really cool person that you're bringing on that you have had the privilege of working with. Client spotlights are amazing because it shows off who they were, who they are, where they are now, and where they are going, and how other people can do it too. So sit down, make a list of your really great clients, and reach out to them and see if they would be willing to come on your show and do just a quick 15 to 20 minute conversation about how they've grown because of their work with you. And I actually recommend doing this once a week. If you can find a handful of clients and do this once a week for a month, this is going to be so dang good for your business, and then repurpose that content so that you can kick it out on your website, on your blog, in your newsletters, and show people that you have social proof that people are doing really awesome things when they are hanging out with you. I love client interviews. I love getting your client spotlights out there, and you can actually repurpose this content in multiple ways. So not only are you doing that live stream video with them, but you're going to do a write-up in your newsletter. You're going to do a highlight spotlight section on your website with text, with writing, with pictures, with proof of what they have done and accomplished within their businesses, their brands, and the things that they are doing. And you are then going to link everything back to the replay of your live stream after it happens. You can take a call for questions if you want people to be able to write in and ask questions, or you can take questions while you are live. But the whole entire thing is all about spotlighting your clients and giving them a chance to get in front of your audience, which also will convince other people to get in that same position so that they can get in front of your audience too. It's a win-win-win-win-win situation all the way around. But clients are not the only thing we're spotlighting. we also need to talk about your products. Now, product spotlights are really cool because you actually get to show off the products and services that you're offering within your business. And in most cases, you're actually not selling on this particular type of live broadcast. Now, you can absolutely do that. Selling on live is totally fine. But in this particular case, I want you to focus on showing off the really great assets of those products or the services that you're offering in your business so people can get a really good in-depth look at what you're doing. So let's just say you've got a physical product. Let's pretend it's a dress. You're going to hold that up. You're going to show off the pockets. You're going to show off the pattern. You're going to show the coloring. You're going to show the stitching. You're going to actually physically move around and show people what it is they're getting. Let's pretend you are a candle creator. You're going to hold up that really beautiful new scent. You're going to show it off. You're going to talk about what's in it. You're going to show off how you can create a centerpiece with it or how you can create a gift with it. You are going to physically show them every aspect of what they are going to be getting when they order from you and showing them that online and talking about the highlights and the benefits and the really cool things that have to do with these products. And if you were doing a service, same things apply. You are going to be talking about your service. You're going to be showing off some of the cool freebies that they get, the bonuses. You're going to be showing off what it looks like to work with you. You're going to actually be taking people on this journey to see if it's going to be a good fit for them. So treat this kind of like a highlight reel. Treat it kind of like a commercial for it without asking them to buy it. I love this because then you can repurpose this over on your website or your blog and show it off as part of your product listing or your service listing so people can get an in-depth look beyond the text, beyond the photos that you were putting out there, and get a real-time look at what you are doing. And you can answer questions while you're on a live stream. So you absolutely can sell. Be prepared to sell if you want to sell. Have those things in place if you need to send them to a shop, if you need to get prices up there, whatever. Make sure you're prepared for that. But in most cases, when you're doing a product spotlight or a service spotlight, you're not going to be selling because this is going to be evergreen content that you're using again and again and again to show off your products, your services, and the things that you're offering within your business and give people a more in-depth look than they could find anywhere else unless they were physically holding it in their hands themselves. But that is not it. We still have so many to go. There are so many ways you can be using live streaming, so let's dive into our next. Speaking of giving people that behind-the-scenes look that they can't find unless they're holding your products in their hands themselves, I love behind-the-scenes information and even tours of your business. This is a great way to connect with people and show them just how hard you're working. So I want you to show off your studio space. I want you to show off your desktop. I want you to take your camera and show them around the room that you are working in. I want you to give them a tour behind the scenes. Let's say you're a photographer and you are able to then walk your people through your studio. So before they ever set foot on your street, through your door, into your lobby, into your studio, these people have already seen what it looks like. They've seen your backgrounds, they've seen your equipment, they've seen where you are doing your editing. They know what you are doing, so that removes that fear and they are much more likely to book with you. I want you to show behind the scenes of your desk. So let's say you're an author like I am. I frequently show off my desk space. So I've got my desk, I've got my computer, I've got my external hard drives, I've got my editing tablet, I have all the technology that I use, and I show my fans what it looks like where I'm writing the stories that they have fallen in love with. I am giving behind the scenes tours when I am on location doing really fun things that my fans, my students, my members can't access themselves in most cases. I love behind the scenes because it shows that real side to things. We know that social media can sometimes be a little curated, a little polished, a little nicer than everyday life. And so these behind the scenes tours kind of show people how we're working in our business. You can show off how you're editing your photos if you're a photographer. You can show off where you're writing your book if you're an author. You can show off how you're creating candles if you are pouring your wax and you're shaping your candles and you're doing all the fun, fabulous things. You're taking them on tour so they actually see how much work goes into the product and the service that you are creating. Because a lot of times we're operating from behind a computer. It can be really hard through social media to see how much work goes into something, which can then make people think, why is that so expensive? Or why is everybody doing this? What's the benefit to me? How does that work for me? By showing them behind the scenes and taking them on tours, they can actually see how much work and effort goes into it, all those little things that go into building the products and services that they could potentially be using or are currently using in their business, and that really develops a very strong appreciation for it. This also helps to educate your people to know what goes into the process. So as a photographer, I know a lot of people sometimes grouse about how much money we are making. But when we break it all down, between the time we are getting people prepped for their shoots, we're actually doing the shoots, we're editing and retouching, we're doing our sales consultations, we're getting things ready, we're ordering the products, we're designing the products, all of these things broken down, that actually adds up to a lot of time invested in a single photo shoot beyond what our clients are seeing. So taking them on this behind the scenes look gives them that appreciation, gives them that knowledge, and allows them to know just how skilled we are at our jobs because we're putting this much time, effort, training, and intentionality into what we're doing within our businesses. I love behind the scenes tours. It makes things more real. It takes me behind the scenes of the companies I love, the businesses I love, the products and services that I'm using, and it gives me an incredible look and much more appreciation for the people behind the scenes. So I highly recommend doing behind the scenes tours, whether you are sitting at your desk and just showing things off, you are giving people tours of your bookshelves or your products or your services, or you're actually going on location with them to show them behind the scenes of how things are working. In fact, as a photographer, I used to take people behind the scenes on my photo shoots and film my photo shoots. They could see everything, which again, eliminates a lot of that fear and enables them to step forward and book with me. And that's something you can use in your business no matter what you are doing to then leverage that and show people how your business works and onboard them to working with your products or your services. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about building with your audience on a live broadcast. Now, this is something I love to do in my businesses. I love to create things with people. And I actually use this as a professional designer. Every single week, I jump into one of my closed Facebook groups and I design a book cover live on air with audience input. And you can do this too. Whether you're creating a service, you're creating products, you're designing something, what I want you to do is invite people to watch you do something live on air, specifically something that you can be designing or creating, and then allow them to have input. Whether it is helping you to design that really cool new headband that you are sending out to people, or it is to build a book cover, or it is to build your marketing PDF for your candle creations. There are so many things that you can do. And they don't have to be large tasks. They can be small tasks, but allow them to have that input. You are building this together. So when I'm building book covers, I am letting people pick fake titles, fake author names. I am letting them pick fake blurbs. They can pick which models I'm using. They can tell me what colors I should be using. I allow them to help me pick the backgrounds. We can pick the genres together. And they join me in real time every single week to watch me create it. So I'm doing all the physical work on it, but they're giving me suggestions and I'm using their suggestions actively within their designs. And guys, this actually allows them to take ownership of what you are creating. So let's just say you are sitting there and you are building a doll together. Let's say you are a doll creator and they are picking the hair color, they're picking the design for the face, the eye colors, like all of these fun, fabulous things. Now that they have actually given their say, they've given their opinions and their input, and you've implemented it into what you're doing, all of a sudden, this is a doll they have helped to create, which means they're going to tell their friends about it. They're going to tell their family about it. They're going to become an evangelist for this specific doll, and chances are they're going to help you get that thing sold. Now, let's say you are a candle creator and you are bringing them behind the scenes of your next candle creation. Obviously, you don't want to let them pick from all of the different scents that you could be putting in there to create a new scent, but maybe you're going to say, choice A, choice B, or choice C, which should be our main focus, and let them pick that. And then say, okay, based on the choice that we just made, here are two really great complementary scents. Which one of these would you prefer? So give them some limitations. It doesn't have to be a free-for-all. Creating and building things online together is a great way to get people to actively participate in the creation of your business, which then gives them ownership and gets them to go out and be an evangelist for you. But you also have the ability to kind of rein that in. Keep in mind, you're the creator here. You're in charge. Whatever this is, it's going out into the world with your name on it. So you do have to make some of those decisions on your own, and you do have to maybe override some of the decisions. But give them the ability to join you and to actually take ownership and participate in what you are creating. This is a great way to build brand evangelists. And I do recommend you do this maybe once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months. It doesn't have to be a big thing. If you're someone who does not necessarily have the ability to do this super often, or it's something where you can't necessarily get a ton of opinions, maybe do it once a quarter. This is a great way to get them engaged with what you're doing in your brand, and you can market the heck out of it before it happens. So build it up for a month or two before you are actually doing this live stream and get them to show up if you're doing it less frequently. If you are doing once a week, train them to show up at the same time every single day or every single week at the same time and the same place so that they are actively campaigning for what you are doing within your business. I love building things on air together, but that's not all I love. In the same vein as building with your audience and allowing them to participate in what you're creating, I also love to jump on and create with my audience. So instead of me building something on my own with their input, we're building something together. Oftentimes, I'm going to do some kind of craft thing with my audience, and I'll give them a list of what supplies they're going to need in advance. So I will sit down and say, hey guys, we're making shell crowns because I am an author who writes mermaid books, and I know you guys want mermaid shell crowns. Here's a list of the things you're going to need. Join me on this day, at this time, in this place, and let's build this together. And so I treat this like a tutorial. I tell them the next step, and we do it together. So if we need to create, let's say, a shell crown together, I'm going to tell them which supplies to have in advance, and then I will step by step walk them through it as I do it and show them on air what I am creating so they can do this too. So we'll talk about using the hot glue to glue the shells on. We'll talk about how to arrange them. We'll talk about how to tie it around your head properly, how to get those ties on. We break it down step by step and do it in real time together so that by the end of my live stream, by the end of that hour and a half, we have a finished product together. And this does not have to be craft time. It could also be inside of your business. So let's say you are giving away this really great tutorial PDF, which is like a fill in the blank thing. I want you to sit down and have one of these really great Let's Make It Together live broadcasts so that we can actually fill in that chart, fill in that fill in the blank section together. You're going to sit down, you're going to show off what it looks like, you're going to tell people where they can print it off right now for free and join your newsletter. It's a great thing. And then together, on screen, you are going to be able to fill this out together. Now you can hold up the paper, you can write things in, or you can do it on screen. You can actually screen share and fill yours in, but you're talking them through the process of how to do that really cool thing. Like, for instance, I've got in my social media strategy world, I have a PDF that is a bio bootcamp. I teach my students how to build their really effective 3 biographies in the different lengths, the different sizes that they need to communicate who they are and what their business does and how it can serve people. And I would sit down and I would break down all 3 of those different types of biographies, and together we would fill those in. We would talk about the answers that are going to be most effective for them and fill it in step by step, line for line, break it down specifically, and do it together on air. So you can create things like seashell crowns. You can teach them how to make candles. You can teach them how to draw something. You can teach them how to fill in your PDFs. You can teach them how to use the calendar that you've given them. There's so many ways that you can do this create together type of live broadcast, and I love it because it's educational, it's instructional, but it's also really effective for them to take the next step forward in doing whatever it is that you're teaching them how to do. Filling in their calendar, using their agenda that you've created for them, making that seashell crown, whatever it is, by the end of that segment, whether it's 20 minutes long if it's short for something like fill in the blanks, or if it's an hour long because you're making a seashell crown, by the end of that segment, you have a finished product in their hands and they're ready to walk away and take action with whatever the next step happens to be. Sounds pretty good, right? And speaking of things that sound pretty good, one of the most popular types of live broadcasting right now is something called an unboxing. Unboxings are so much fun because you're literally unboxing something that you get in the mail. Now, I love this because you actually get to show off a product that you are receiving, something you purchased or something that you have been given to show off by a company, by a product sponsor, and you get to show this off in real time and see it for the first time with your audience. Now, there are a couple of tips and tricks we're going to get to in just a second, but let's clearly define what an unboxing is. When you get this in the mail from your mail carrier, you are going to have a box or a bag, something you're going to be opening up. You're then going to take a product out and you're going to show it off. Your job with an unboxing is not to react in a way that is not going to be helpful. Your job is to make sure that you are letting people know whether or not this product is going to be a good fit for them. So you're going to hold that product up and you're going to explain everything that you see. I do this a lot in my author life because I am unboxing the books that I have written. So I will hold up a book, I will show my fans, and we'll talk about the cover. We'll talk about the spine. We'll talk about the back cover. We'll show them the inside. We'll take a look at the interior. We'll talk about how things are printed, what it looks like, what they need to know about the book. If it's one of my books, I'll tell them where they can get it. If it's one of my friends' books and I am talking about it for them, I'm going to send my fans over to their websites, over to their buy links, over to where they can get their hands on a copy of this as well. We're going to read the back cover. We're going to give all the valuable information on it so that people can see it. I also do this because I work with professional mermaids a lot, and so I do tail unboxings. When I get mermaid tails, and yes, I do have those, I will hold them up, I'll show off the fabric, I'll show off the silicone, I'll show off what it's made of, I will talk about the accessories that it comes with. I'm going to show off the product and really highlight the aspects of it that are important for people to consider if they're going to buy that product as well. Sometimes you will have things that you don't like, and you will have to phrase it in a way that allows people to make the decision for themselves. So if you don't like something, don't be mean, don't be rude about it. You're going to say, if this is something you're looking for, maybe this is not the one for you because it doesn't have this. Or maybe if this is something you like, you would like this. So let's just, for an instance, let's talk about a candle. Let's say you are holding up a fabulous candle and maybe the label is not super pretty. Maybe it doesn't smell quite the way that you thought it would. So you are going to very clearly say, if you are someone who likes brighter colors on your label, maybe this candle line is not for you, but if you like those more muted tones, maybe this is the candle for you. This way you are giving them the ability to make up their own minds, have their own opinions on things without your opinion kind of coloring what they're thinking of. So give them both sides of it, whether you love it or maybe you don't love it so much. You're giving them both sides to then equip them to make the decision for themselves, which then the company will thank you for whether or not you liked it, because this allows their people to decide if it's going to be a good fit for them or not. So let's say that candle was very strongly scented and you don't like strongly scented candles. You would say, this is a very strongly scented candle. If you want your whole house to smell like this forever and ever and ever, this is the candle for you. If you want more subtle tones, if you want it just to smell when you have it lit, maybe this is not the candle line for you. Maybe you want to try something else. But you're giving them both sides of it so they can make up their own mind and phrasing it in a way that is polite and respectful and professional. Now, real quick, some tips for unboxings. When you are doing an unboxing, I want you to open the box or bag in advance. You don't have to take the product out in advance, but I want you to open it in advance. No one wants to see you struggle opening a box. Please have it cut open beforehand so that you're not fighting with it on air. You are going to make sure that you know what the company's information is. So whether you like the product or not, you do need to give a shout out to them, even if they're not paying you for it. Even if it's something you bought, give that shout out to them. So say their website, their social media, be specific on what the product is. So whatever the product name is, say that while you're on air and have that conversation so that people can go check them out, good, bad, or otherwise. When you do this, this actually gets you in front of that company so that they can potentially use this video to send out to their people, but it also gets you in the mind of other companies who may or may not want to start sponsoring you and sending you products that you can use in your business, in your brand, for your people, for your students, for your clients, for your members, and they will potentially send you things, or even better, pay you for doing these unboxings on your live streams as well. So you want to be very, very professional about this. Keep in mind, this is not necessarily about your opinion. It's about equipping people to make the decision for themselves on whether or not that product is going to be for them. I love unboxings. Unboxings are so much fun. People love seeing products for the first time. So make sure you are ready to go when it comes to unboxings and start implementing that into your business. And if you're not somebody who gets a lot of stuff into your business, unbox business books. You can unbox things that you are going to use for your business. So let's say you're a photographer and you just got a new lens. Unbox it and say, hey guys, I just got this new lens. Here's how I'm going to use it to serve you. Let's say you are someone who is a blogger and you just got some really cool product that you're going to be using on your desk to keep track of everything. Show them how you are going to use that to then plan out your blog to give them more content. Everything you get, my friends, can be spun to work for your business and how your business can then serve your people. So unboxings, not just about your opinions, they're about being professional, and they're a great way to educate your people about your business and how you're implementing things into your business to then serve your clients. I love unboxings. What do you think? Using live streaming for your business announcements is another great way that you can take advantage of this particular type of platform. Now, announcements are going to happen inside of your business. You've got a new product, you've got a new service, you're going to be making an appearance at an event, a convention, a summit. You are going to be doing something cool. People should be checking something out. Use your live streams to make announcements. Now, usually these are going to be unscheduled, so you may not have people pop on quite as much as they do for some of your other things, especially because announcements should be made as quickly as possible. You don't want to hold off because at some point they're already going to know this information, and if you are teaching or telling them something that is no longer relevant to them, that's not going to help. So announcements need to be made almost in real time. When you find out, when you have confirmation on things, the earliest you can get on I encourage you to jump on a live stream and make these announcements. Now you want to make sure that you've got your bullet points ready, you've got your words up on your screen, you are fully prepared to actually be making this announcement and giving them all the information that is relevant to them. So any locations, any times, any dates, any websites, any social media, anything that they need to do to participate in an event or whatever your announcement happens to be. I want you to make sure you are fully prepared to do that. So practice first if you need to, make a list if you need to before you go on air, but then get yourself on air as quickly as possible. And announcements don't have to be long. They can be 5 minutes, they can be 10 minutes, they can be 15 minutes. They shouldn't necessarily go over 15 minutes because you're just making an announcement, and each announcement should have its own live broadcast so that you can leverage it later on. So when you've got an announcement in your business, like you're opening something or you're closing something or you're going to be somewhere or you're going to do something or you've got new products or new services, things that people need to know about, this is a great way to inform your people. And then repurpose this over on your newsletter, on your social media, on IGTV, all those fun, fabulous places to then spread word about your announcement. And that actually ties in with our next point, breaking news. Anytime something happens within your industry, anytime something happens that's going to affect your clients, your members, your students, anytime that you have breaking news in your own business, I want you to jump on a live broadcast and actually tell them in real time as quickly as possible. You want to be the one to break this news, whether it's in your business or outside of your business and affects people. So what can you talk about that actually helps to build up that relationship with your clients? If you are a family photographer in your local area, and there's going to be a really cool event that you've just heard about that is confirmed going to happen, we should jump on a live stream and tell your people about this really cool event that they can go to within your community. Side note, you're going to be there with your camera. If they want to hang out with you and grab some pictures, they can totally do that. Leverage this breaking news for your business so that people are aware of the really cool things going on that they need to know about, but also how it ties back to your business as well. And you can use this within your own business to break news about new things that you're going to be doing that affect them, especially if they are time sensitive. Breaking news is one of my favorite things to do, and I make sure that I am paying attention to the community that I am participating in, and I am breaking that news before anybody else so that I'm always seen as the person who is able to bring them this news before the rest of the industry, before the other people that could potentially help them on this, so they can stay up to date and on top of everything that's happening in their lives that's going to affect them as well, which means not only are they watching you for breaking news, but the other cool content that you're doing as well. One of the cool ways I like to use live streaming is actually to do trailer reveals or product reveals. So as an author, I create book trailers for my books. These are tiny videos to promote the books. They kind of go along the lines of a movie trailer. So it's like highlight information about what my fans need to know about my stories, which I then do in a really cool video production of my book. And I put this out through a live stream recently, and my fans ate it up. So not only did I drop the trailer out on YouTube, but I premiered it on a live stream. And for the first time, we were all able to watch this together. So you can use this for trailers for your business, for your company, for your products, for your services. You can also use this to reveal new products and services that you are doing. So let's just say that you have created a really cool new product, whatever it happens to be in your business, and for the first time ever, your people are going to be able to be introduced to it live together so that we can all see our reactions at the same time. In fact, a lot of the social media platforms are leveraging this so that you can do premiere videos at the same time and people can comment on things at the same time in real time. No matter where they are in the world, they have the ability to come together to have an opinion on something together. It's about building that community. And so using this as a trailer reveal or a product reveal and getting everybody in the same place at the same time after building up the hype beforehand is a great way to create community. Let people see things at the same time. Introduce them to things at the same time. Let them have opinions at the same time and facilitate that conversation that everyone loves to have. Everybody loves to have an opinion, right? So doing these reveals on a live broadcast gets everybody in the same place at the same time so they can have those comments, they can have that commentary, they can have those questions answered together at the same time. Reveals are so much fun, and then you can repurpose that content out on the other social media platforms later so people can come back and watch your trailers or watch your debuts, watch the objects that you are showing off for the very first time within these live streams. But bring them together on a live stream and do it a little bit more high-end than just dropping that trailer out on YouTube. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost at the end. I got a really great tip for you. Are you ready for this one? In the last of our 15 ways that you can be actively using live streaming in your business to grow your brain and create profit within your business, I want to talk about something that steps outside of live broadcasting just a little bit. This is actually to use your live stream as a podcast recording. Now, you guys know I've got multiple talk shows. I also have multiple podcasts that I run in all of my different businesses and industries, and I love to film my podcast through live streaming. Now, you can live stream into a closed group where nobody can see it. You can do this offline so nobody can see it, or you can do it publicly so people can watch you record your podcast in real time. If you are doing it in a closed group or you're doing it offline, you are still recording that video, but you're not showing that to people. You can then take those video clips and clip out a question and answer with your guest for the day, or clip out a really great tip that you've given on your podcast and use that as leverage over on social media. So you're showing off that tiny video clip to get people to go listen to your full podcast episode, or you're giving them face-to-face direct access to you and your guest stars as you are recording. We know podcasting is a little bit different than live streaming. There's kind of a different format. There's kind of some behind the scenes things, especially if you are recording a podcast which you then edit and take out certain parts of. So people are going live right now, live streaming their podcast, and when they mess up, we kind of get to see the behind the scenes of how a podcast works. So people are joining you for your podcast, for the polished, beautiful, wonderful version of the podcast you're putting out there, but they also get to see the unedited version in your live stream if you're doing that publicly, and they're getting that content a little bit in advance. So by the time it comes around to your podcast, they're there to actively support you and get that content out to their friends as well. I love live streaming podcasts, whether it is to a group of people or behind the scenes, because I then have so much footage and extra bonus content that I can use and leverage within my business to market my podcast, to market my business, to market the things that I am doing. And I love giving my fans access not only to my live streams, not only to my talk shows and my unboxings and my interviews and the things that I'm doing within my live streaming world, but to my podcasting world as well. So tell me, friends, what do you think of these tips? These are 15 different ways that you can be using live streaming within your own business, and I have used every single one of these in every single one of my businesses. Between my talk shows and my interviews, my bonus content, the conventions that I'm running online, I love using and leveraging live streaming because it is so incredibly helpful. And we know the algorithm's favorite over any other type of content right now, and you have to be live streaming because this is what gets put out there on the internet. And I love that you have so many different variations of live streaming that you can be doing and implementing into your business to grow what you are doing within your business to grow that profitable brand. Live streaming is so much fun, and I love these different ways. But if you've got other ways, let me know. I would love to hear how you are using your live streaming as well. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kayam Robinson. I'm a social media marketing strategist and educator. I'm a best-selling young adult fiction author. I'm a photographer. I'm a designer. I'm a talk show host. I'm all sorts of fun, fabulous things. And I would love to hear from you. How are you guys using your social media? You can come on over and join me at kmrobinson.com and socialmediaforbosses.com, as well as Livestream Action Plan, where I'm giving you a roadmap to one amazing live stream every single month within your business to help grow your business and get more clients and get more income within your business. And I'm showing you all sorts of fun things from our magazine that comes out every single month, and how you can do other live streams as well. So I am hand-holding you, giving you the roadmap guide to your success within your live streams over at livestreamactionplan.com right now. And you can learn more about social media strategy and building your profitable businesses through smart social media marketing at kmrobinson.com and socialmediaforbosses.com, where I've got my weekly talk show and podcast talking all about how you can grow through social media. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this part of our amazing course on live streaming and how you can be leveraging it in your business. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do. P.S. Next time you live stream, hit me up. I would love to come visit and support you and ask questions while you're on air. Thanks for joining me.